Hello. In our Parashat, Vayakhel Pekudei, we read the description of how Am Yisrael bring all the donations needed to the construction of the Mishkan. And we read that Am Yisrael brought enough, dayam, vehoter, more than enough. Now this is unnecessary. You could have said they brought more than enough, or they brought enough. But why enough and more than enough? Why is this important to tell us this idea? And there are different explanations given to this. The Sfat Emet understands that the idea of enough and more than enough is not describing how much the Mishkan received, but more about how Am Yisrael actually gave. The question is not, was there enough construction material for the Mishkan? But the question is, how did the people feel? What was their experience while donating to the Mishkan? And he says when one donates, when one does actions for Avodat Hashem, sometimes it can be in a good amount and a good quantity, and sometimes suddenly it can change and become too much. What does that mean, too much? When suddenly a person feels that they own the Mishkan, they own Avodat Hashem, they feel proud of what they've been doing. We know that the Mishnah in Avot says, "Im lamadet Torah harbe, al tachzik tova le'atzmecha, ki lechach notzarta." If you've learned a lot of Torah, don't give yourself too much of a pat on your back, because this is what you were created for. What does the Mishnah care that a person gives himself and says, "Shkoyach, I did a good job"? That's okay. But what does it mean, al tachzik tova le'atzmecha? Don't think too much of yourself, because suddenly you feel as if the fact that you're learning Torah is more than what you actually needed to do. Suddenly the Torah is not something that you are serving the Torah, but rather the Torah is something that belongs to you, that you own it, that you are more important than it. It's serving you. A person feels larger and bigger than what he actually is. Same thing with donating for the Mishkan. There's a danger. Am Yisrael can feel that the Mishkan belongs to them. They built this Mishkan. The Mishkan is ours. We see this danger sometimes, of course not in our community, but in different places. You can see some people that donate a whole shul, and then they feel that they own the place, and they don't realize that the idea was that they donated something for Am Yisrael. They donated something for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and not that they donated something which belongs to them in the end. That's not a donation. Donation is to give something to some other cause, and it belongs to the other, to the cause that you gave the donation for, because you are serving, you are there for something greater than you are, something which is more important than your money or your efforts. You realize that you are there to serve something, a greater need, a greater cause, a greater end. And this is what the Sfat Emet says, that the melacha hayta dayam, it was enough, and there was a danger, vehoter, that some of the people got to a place where they started feeling that they own the Mishkan, that it's not that they are there to serve Hashem, they're not there to build the Mishkan, but rather the Mishkan is there glorifying their greatness, and look how wonderful we are, and we're doing a favor to Ribono Shel Olam. No, you are there to serve Hashem. The Mishkan is there not to glorify you, but you are there to glorify HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's why Moshe told Am Yisrael to stop. And when Am Yisrael stopped, so then it was again just enough. When they realized the danger that they were in, when suddenly they're told, wait, we don't need you anymore, suddenly they realized that it's not that the Mishkan is glorifying them, but they are there to serve Hashem through the Mishkan. And I think this is something so important for us to remember in our lives, to remember to put in many times our ego aside and be there in order to serve greater ends. Could it be our families? Could it be Avodat Hashem and good deeds to the people around us? Could it be many different ends that we can think about, different goals that we have in life? To remember, it's not there to serve us, but we are there to make the world a better place. Shabbat Shalom.